Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. Unfortunately, in this one, we have to talk about something that we already talked about yesterday. But I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on that position because people kind of got pissed at me for saying that the team would tank for the 6th seed. And it's really weird. It's really weird how emotional people get about their teams. Like, they would never do that. And I'm just like, bro, like, they definitely would. Like, out of all the conspiracy theories that are in sports, people really think that, like, teams are against tanking. Or, like the fucking players bet on the game and we're worried about the integrity of the fucking sport. But, nevertheless, that's not what I'm here to talk about. I want to talk about the Pacers and tanking for the 6th seed. Because I caught a lot of flack in some ways for that take. A lot of people disagreed with me, and that's okay. You're entitled to your own opinion. But I wanted to elaborate on that because even though I feel like I did elaborate a little bit on it, I didn't go into full, like, I guess, far enough detail for people to understand it. But I'm going to talk about it because I feel like it's something people should understand. It's something people, I think, need to understand. And people also, I think, need to understand that around playoff time, teams will purposely sit starters. We've seen it for years. We've seen it for years where teams will purposely sit guys for rest or, make them sit on back-to-backs because you're getting to the playoffs, like into that playoff time picture. But I made a video insinuating that the Pacers purposely tried to lose the game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I still believe that, 100%. I think they purposely tried to lose that game. It's very rare that you have 5 guys, okay, 4 of them being your starters, that just magically can't go one night. You know what I'm saying? You were playing a Minnesota Timberwolves team that had Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, Mike Conley, right? Like, you were playing a Minnesota Timberwolves team that was fully loaded, and Pascal Siakam sat for personal reasons. Johnny Furphy was an illness. Aaron Nesmith was an ankle. Some of the injuries were believable, without a doubt. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Tyrese Haliburton has had back spasms since high school, so I can understand that. It just seemed incredibly fishy that they would not play Miles Turner, I don't even think even played. Like, it just seems incredibly fishy that you would sit 4 out of your 5 starters on a night where a team you're competing with for that 4th spot is playing one of the worst teams in the league and actually ended up beating the brakes off of that team. The Detroit Pistons played the New Orleans Pelicans that night and destroyed them. I think the score was like 120 something to like 80 or 90. Like, it wasn't even a close game. Okay? So to me, it seemed very strange that for a team that supposedly is going for the 4th seed would essentially just sit 4 of their 5 starters. Then Ben Mathurin, their 6th man, fouls out in that game. Then Andrew Nembhard, right, ends up getting tossed from that game for 2 technical fouls. Granted, I don't think anybody expected Obi Toppin to have the night that he had, but Obi Toppin went off and was able to win us the game. He had 34 points, 10 rebounds, and, shot 7 of 10 from 3, and I think 12 of 19 from the field. Obi Toppin played out of his mind. But then when I voiced my opinion that I think they purposely tried to lose this game to end up with the 6th seed, the argument that I kept getting was, well, they wouldn't do that. They want the 4th seed. They want home court advantage. And I would understand that a little bit more if home court advantage didn't only matter to us in the first round. Because the fact of the matter is, okay, last year when we made the Eastern Conference Finals, home court advantage didn't matter because we were the 6th seed. We were the 6th seed and made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I'm not saying home court advantage doesn't matter. I'm simply saying home court advantage doesn't matter enough for us to try to be the 4th seed to take on an opponent that is healthier than the opponent we would prefer to play against. And that is the New York Knicks. And the reason I say that is because Jalen Brunson has an ankle injury. Okay, a grade 2 ankle sprain, which means you're out for at least a month. And that doesn't take into account recovery time and stuff like that. Like, you're out for at least a month just to, like, it takes you, with a grade 2 ankle sprain, it takes you about 3 weeks just to be able to walk on your ankle again, really, and, like, have some movement in it where you're, and put some weight on it and stuff like that. It takes a while. Okay? It takes a while for you to recover from an injury like that. And even when you do, the muscles are really, really tight because they're trying to shield all the cartilage in your ankle and stuff like that. All the ligaments are really tight. That's the thing. Because I've had a grade 2 ankle sprain before. And let me tell you, man, it is not, like, I got a grade 2 ankle sprain playing pickup basketball years ago. And let me tell you, it took a long time for me to recover from that injury. As a young adult in my early 20s. Okay? So, when I see Jalen Brunson go through the same thing, I think to myself, yeah, we're talking like 2 months before he's back to 100%. Like 100%, good to go, no issues at all. 100%. 2 months at least. Now, rumors are he will be back by the first or second week of April, right before the playoffs start. Now, if you're Kevin Pritchard and Chad Buchanan and even Rick Carlisle, you're looking at this going, that's the matchup I want. That's the matchup I want. Because what's more important? Home court advantage or essentially ensuring yourself as being a lock for the second round? Because that's the difference here. That's what we're getting into. Now, you could debate which team you'd want to play in the second round, the Cleveland Cavaliers or the Boston Celtics. But the fact of the matter is you got to get to the second round anyway if you want Miles Turner to come back. That's the flip side of the coin here, is the idea that, like, if we get knocked out in the first round, there's a serious chance Miles Turner doesn't even think about coming back. He's like, we made the Eastern Conference Finals last year. We got knocked out in the first round this year by Milwaukee, let's say, because we would end up being the 4th seed. 4th seed plays the 5th seed. Right now, Milwaukee's the 5th seed after last night. So let's say we end up losing to Milwaukee, right? Then Miles Turner has an excuse to be like, we got worse, so I'm going to leave. That's the part of this also that I think a lot of people are not thinking about. Is like, yeah, you could say, a lot of people think I'm insinuating that, like, we're scared of the Bucks. No, we're not scared of the Bucks. It's just the idea that the more favorable matchup is the New York Knicks with an injury-riddled Jalen Brunson, who is going to come back right before playoff time, probably only be 70-75%. And even when he does come back, if they allow him and clear him to play, he's going to need 6 cortisone shots in that ankle, and they're going to put him on a minutes restriction. That's what happens with these types of things, okay? And it's just appalling to me in a way that people seem to think Jalen Brunson's going to come back and just be 100%. Because the fact of the matter is, they might not even allow this dude to play. Like, that's the thing that people need to understand. Like, just because he takes a month off, he'll have time to heal. You have to understand, ankle injuries are very sensitive. In a sense that, yeah, you can come back. You might be able to walk on it. Shit, you might even be able to run on it, okay? But the impact of jumping can re-aggravate it. And that I think is what the Knicks are most worried about. Yeah, do you want to make a playoff push and try to win a championship? Absolutely. Every team does. But it's just the idea, if you're the Pacers and you want that same opportunity, your best opportunity is against the Knicks. Home court advantage did not matter last year. And I don't think it matters much again this year. Because you'd be playing a Knicks team where Jalen Brunson is not going to be 100%. I'm telling you right now. It's a foregone conclusion. This man he'll play. He'll probably play. Guarantee he's going to at least try to play. Okay? But I would much rather have the injury-riddled Jalen Brunson Knicks, or the guys that, are already having problems with Tom Thibodeau, Mikal Bridges, and Josh Hart, actually. Josh Hart got in Tom Thibodeau's face the other night, okay, over something. So tensions are clearly high in New York between Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, and Tom Thibodeau. And then you have a superstar that's going to be playing on half an ankle. So would you rather that matchup or a fully healthy Milwaukee Bucks lineup with Giannis Antetokounmpo? And you can say what you want. Milwaukee's got their own thing going on at the moment. Giannis has been playing like shit recently. I know it's hard to think of 20 and 18 as a shitty night for Giannis, but Giannis is a guy who usually averages 30 points a game. He has not been doing that recently. It's very obvious he's starting to wear down a little bit here as the season comes to an end. But they're going to be getting Bobby Portis back. They have Damian Lillard, okay? Like, their team is still relatively healthy. Gary Trent Jr. is getting hot at the right moment, right? So would you rather a healthy Bucks roster that you potentially lose in the first round to? Not saying it's going to happen, but there is potential there that you lose that series. And even if you get home court advantage, you lose Miles Turner in the offseason. Or would you rather tank for that 6th seed, play the injury-riddled New York Knicks, have an even higher chance of going to the second round? Granted, you'll have to play Boston, but like I said, it's a catch-22 between Boston and Cleveland because I think they're both better teams than ours at the moment anyway. They have more going for them at the moment than we do. But would you rather that and make the second round and potentially keep Miles Turner, or would you rather, I don't know, stroke your ego and get the 4th fucking seed and potentially lose and then lose Miles, all for home court advantage? If you ask me, the answer seems relatively clear. Now, I'm not saying, I'm not saying that it's a definitive thing that the Indiana Pacers are tanking for the 6th seed, but it sure looked like a fucking tank job if I've ever seen one. You know what I'm saying? Or at least an attempt at a tank job if I had ever seen one. And yeah, we ended up winning that game. Great. Glad we won it. I'm not mad that we won the game. Okay, cool. You know what? Every team that we're in competition with here, whether we end up at the 6th seed, the 4th seed, or the 5th seed, okay, doesn't matter to me who we play. It just doesn't. Doesn't matter to me who we play because I don't like any of the fucking teams anyway. Okay? I don't like Milwaukee. I sure as shit don't like Detroit. And I don't like the Knicks. They're all teams that we have a problem with. Okay? I would love nothing more for us to play the fucking Bucks and kick their ass again. I would love nothing more for us to play the Detroit Pistons and sweep those motherfuckers. Okay? I would like nothing more than for us to play the Knicks and kick their ass, especially as somebody who lives in New York State. But I'm simply saying that the path of least resistance is the path that the Pacers more than likely want to take just to get into the second round. Because home court advantage for us is not going to matter once we get into the second round anyway. Just not. If you have to play Cleveland or Boston, they're both higher seeds than we are. So it doesn't matter. I'm simply saying we're putting a huge emphasis on home court advantage and the integrity of the game and all this other stupid dumb shit. Okay? We're putting home court advantage ahead of the path of least resistance. At least for the first round. Okay, yeah, maybe you get lucky and I don't know who the 8th seed is right now in the East. Maybe you get lucky and Atlanta, right, ends up beating Boston. Or maybe you get lucky and right now at the moment it's Orlando. Orlando ends up beating Cleveland. I doubt it. I doubt both scenarios. But the fact of the matter is at the end of the day, you're still... You like the home court advantage is only going to matter for you in the first round. And if we're playing an injury-riddled Knicks team, I'm not sure that really matters so much. Especially when you have their two main players in Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges, two of the more solid guys they have, are losing their cool with their coach, and Mikal Bridges has already come out to the press and openly admitted that the amount of minutes he's playing is taking a toll on his body. So, I don't know. If you ask me, it seems like, a no-brainer. It seems like a no-brainer to say, yeah, give me the 6th seed. Let me play the Knicks with a 70% Jalen Brunson, who's going to be on a minutes restriction, a Mikal Bridges who has already admitted that the minutes he's playing are taking a toll on his body, and a Josh Hart that's pissed off at their head coach. So, I don't know. People can have their opinions. That's fine. It's just, I don't know. It's just amazing to me that people think Jalen Brunson's going to come back and be 100% after what happened to Aaron Nesmith. You know what I'm saying? Like, that to me is what's most appalling about this, is people think Jalen Brunson's just going to come back and be Jalen Brunson again. And I'm like, okay, like, I get that. I understand your line of thinking. But at the same time, it's like, we had a guy on our roster this year in Aaron Nesmith who got injured, 11, 12 games into the season and didn't come back until, just before the All-Star break? I mean, the dude, Aaron Nesmith has played 31 games this year. He's only played 31 games. By the time the season's over, he will probably only have played half the season. He will have missed 50% of the season. So, and even when he came back, it wasn't like he was 100% right away. So that's why I'm at a point where I'm like, I can't believe this is the argument people are making. I can't believe the argument is home court advantage and, but Jalen Brunson will be back in April. Yeah, he'll be back, but he's not going to be, if anything, even if Jalen Brunson does play, Jalen Brunson's going to be deferring to Mikal Bridges and Karl Anthony Towns for most of the games anyway. So, I don't know. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but that's my reasoning. That's my reasoning for all of this, is because I'm like, do I want to play the healthy Bucks roster, or would I rather play the Knicks team that seems to be in shambles? I don't know. You guys tell me. Like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. And I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.